It's Sunday. We're check out this historic 1776 Georgia sign. Milam's Bridge, the covered structure over the Etowah here, was burned by Jackson's cavalry May 21st, 1864, the day after the Johnson's passage of the river at the State of R.R. Bridge. May 23rd, the second pontoon bridges intended for the passage of the Scottfield's 23rd AC were usurped by the 20th AC, mistakenly diverted from the Gilman's Bridge, and the 23rd AC did not cross until the 24th. This and the crossings lower down were on the federal routes from the Kingston, Cottersville. Let me flip it around so y'all can see this. Routes from the Kingston and Cassville towards Dallas, Paulding County. Sherman called the Etowah the Rubicon of Georgia. Sherman was a good man, y'all. You'll get a lot of hate for Sherman in the South because we were rude bitches and he treated us adjustingly accordingly. But Sherman was actually a nicer general. By the way, apparently today's topic is going to be farmers. And it doesn't really matter quite where the camera's pointing since it's, about 4 or 5 a.m. here. I think 5 a.m. is the time on the clock. And the first thing from the cool down, which take it as it is, it's the cool down, so I don't know how accurate the news is. But apparently the world is shocked and horrified to see we have our first octopus farm. And I hear if you're not really into zoology or studying animals or, okay, y'all, I want you to picture something. You know how smart chimps and gorillas and orangutans and apes are, right? You know how smart they are. It's why we don't butcher them for meat. I mean, technically we could, but it runs the risk of us getting kuru, and that leaves us feeling all icky, and we don't like to think about it. By the way, this isn't my light. This is someone driving by. The bright light war be real, y'all. Imagine if I'd been looking forward to walk down the road, not following my natural little trail that I put in. I'd imagine, yeah, here's another one. These are the lights, and this one's actually not that bad a light. This one's just traveling with the classic Georgia, one big headlight, no little headlights. Because again, here in Georgia, we love our automobiles. We just don't know how to run them right. We don't know how to take care of them or keep them up. Hell, you'll see everybody here struggling, but everybody here also has 4 or 5 vehicles in their yard. That's 4 or 5 insurance plans. That's if you're like me, a working American, 4 or 5 car payments. Capitalism. She really screw us all, don't she, friends? Aw, hello, you're in trouble, we know. I'm curious about Fart State, but I do agree, Georgia sucks. I mean, according to Georgia Pacific, because y'all, let me give you a little more information, because it goes back to that it's real easy to be angry online, real hard to be productive. For the past 3 days, I have been trying desperately to find good, solid information on how I'm in frame. I, just a simple fucking cook, could help bring back Georgia's natural grasslands, Georgia's natural beauty, and to get rid of some of these things the rich people have given us, like this lovely crop of gas stations. Now, I can't get rid of the gas stations, wouldn't want to. That's a small business. But I would like to get, I would like to get some actual wild grass rather than just this crap. This love in our ancestors and before were here. Before colonizers decided, hey, let's make everything look like a stupid Jackson Pollock painting. That one didn't sink. That one didn't track. Jackson Pollock did the fun, strange paintings. I was thinking Norman Rockwell. That's the fucker I was thinking of. Let's make everything look like a shitty Norman Rockwell painting. Because again, here in Georgia, we do have bushes, trees, green. But a lot of it's non-native species, like this pine here that I can't tell you the exact pine, but I can tell you not really native here. Our Georgia pines have those weird little green conifer like Christmas trees. And again, maybe I'm wrong. I've been trying to find this information, but while specifically looking for Georgia natural growing beauty, how to regrow Georgia's natural wildlife, productive vandalism, how to improve my area, in a very ragtag way. These are all the terms I tried to search. And I can tell you now intimate knowledge about the redwood forest. I can tell you about Oregon's beauty. I can tell you about Florida's Everglades. The only thing I can tell you about Georgia's agro is that we got a bunch of bald eagles here. Which, I mean, cool, neat, happy for that. Good that that species is making a recovery. Not doing me any good at what seed should I plant as I walk. What kind of things should I throw out as I go to help? But a whole lot of be busy about at work. And a whole lot of things to be angry about, which is where I'm getting into our subject of today. Not adding nobody here, because as a son of the South, I can tell you, farmers are important. But currently, a lot of farmers be fucking up, in my opinion, and here's how. Let's get into it. I was just recently, before I got on to here, thank you, I got it at the Ingles here, and I added a little band to it. Bare bones, upgrade it, make it personal. Your personal style will always be way cooler than anything from Louis Vuitton or any of those high-end jackasses. But that's from me. I admire creativity. I think demure is the stupid. But, as I was saying, I think a lot of farmers be fucking up. The Hassan video I posted in the little YouTube posts, I never got the chance to finish all the way. Mostly because listening to our president tends to make my brain want to self-destruct. I've helped out with Alzheimer's patients a lot in the past, volunteer as well as just helping out with elderly members as they get elderly. And yeah, our president's sundowning, folks. He's... I don't know how to say this without it being like in trouble or TOS. So I'm just going to dance as nicely as I can around it. If you got something to say to the president, you might want to say it soon, because in the next 5 to 10 years, I think he's going to be coming to the end of his trail. And I don't know how else to say that, folks. I mean, the man talks to people that aren't there. When he got freaked out over Elon Musk basically coming out with him being all over the Epstein. Did that sound cohesive? Because even me saying it sounded weird to me. But he said it on stage in front of like people. Like he thought that was cooking. Like I said, Georgia, folks. And this, for the record, is why I constantly complain both about non-native grass, because what I'm just wading through now was non-native grass, which poses a tripping hazard and a site issue because it doesn't grow with the rest of the group. Also, you know, let me just show you. This is me. You're looking at me out here. This is the road as I see it. Don't you feel safe, y'all? I mean, it's not as bad as street lights, but boy howdy. The sun will be rising soon, and y'all will catch that as it does it live. But back to complaining about farmers. The world's first octopus farm has now been built and is being started up. Here's why we shouldn't do that personally. It's because, I'm gonna aim that down a little so I don't, there we go. Y'all can see what's coming, I can see what's on the ground. But here's the thing about octopi, I suppose. They're as intelligent as dogs. They're a little bit more arguably intelligent than most of the people you deal with on a daily basis. They can solve complex problems. They have in-depth feelings about love and hate. Octopi go to war. Octopi hunt and communicate. Maybe not like we do with words, but through pictures and various other things. This is a highly intelligent animal that we're now about to put inside little tanks and brutally, and I do mean brutally, murder. You know what they do when they kill an octopus humanely? Now, when you kill a squid humanely, that's very different because the squid's brain basically wraps around its spine. The fishermen who catch them wild karate chop the squid about midpoint of the dorsal fin and it kills it instantly. It'd be the same as me taking a gun and putting it in someone's head. It's done. The squid does not feel any pain because it is that instantaneous. Now, when these capitalist bastards kill these octopi, what they do, yes, we're past the 10-minute mark. I can say the bad words now. But when these capitalist bastards kill these octopi, what they do is they put them in an ice slurry. So I want you to picture, if you will, because we are as intelligent as these octopi. Possibly less, possibly more. It gets hairy there. But picture, if you will, I decide to start farming humans for that lovely, delicious, lean meat. So, would it be more humane as I farm my humans to just shoot them in the head? That way it's quick, it's instantaneous. If I do it right, I can even have it be something cute like a woman's tits or something. So the stupid human runs up and just puts their face in it and then dies. Or, here's a fun capitalist idea for cheap. We make an ice slurry and we dunk them in it. That way, they slowly freeze to death. And as their body fights like hell to live, it'll slowly go numb. And then the nerve endings will scream as you freeze. And then you'll get real warm. And then you'll get real sleepy. And then after about an hour, you'll die. Again, what would be better? Because again, this is treat any animals this way. Why haven't we learned these lessons? We're not even like, okay, well, we'll continue treating chickens and cows and lamb and all the farm. We'll continue treating them inhumanely and terrible. But if the animal can think and recognize its surroundings, clearly we should be a little better. No, y'all, it's that bad. It's terrible. And this is going to be one of those several quiet things that just happens. Because right now, on to the next subject of farmers. What the fuck you doing? I'm sure y'all have heard of alligator Auschwitz. Our lovely Florida brand American concentration camp for any immigrants. Well, good news, you guys. Yeah, I hate bright lights. Well, good news, you guys. They still get to leave Auschwitz. We'll send them to the farms to work for their owners. I mean friends. I mean owners. Because that's exactly how the president just described the farmers that are going to work on in Florida with this program to bring in all of these American citizens, possibly, that Trump is deporting to alligator Auschwitz, where they will work for free for America on plantations picking crops, where their owners, the farmers, will basically rent them out and rent them from the prison. It's like they're doing everything of the past that was bad. They're just doing it all the fuck at once. By a worm and a doctor, biggest air quotes I can put on that doctor is if y'all could see my hand, and a doctor who basically sold shit remedies and neti pots for about 40 years. By the way, here's a fun thing about the neti pot and Doc Oz just taking random pot shots, but you want to know why the neti pot hit real hard and fast in the early 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then died like mid to late 2000s? Brain parasites and brain bacteria. Because crunchy white moms who do those weird little health trends surprisingly don't medically clean their shit. And when you're putting water up your nasal cavities into your brain dome area, yeah, it'd be wise to make sure that's really, really clean water. And when you put just American tap water in your brain, well, you end up with parasites, lead poisoning, amoebas. Got them amoebas up in their dome. You all. But I don't want to radicalize you, because who the fuck am I? If we're going to march, brothers and sisters, we're going to lean on each other and do this together. Because I would rather die than live in this America. But be damned if I'm going to be the one crazy. I'm not a right-winger. I wipe my own ass, thank you very much. I even washed that bastard. It's like... But like I was telling my friend, and it feels kind of hopeless. Hello, Nicole +5. But I told my friend, and it feels kind of hopeless, because it's like, I do everything I can to put everything in a satirical wrapper and be like, yeah, y'all, it's fucking terrible, but you can't, like, burn it down. We got to do something productive and happy about it. Try to look up your natural plants so we can rewild it to be what it should be from back in the day. Put out food for your local wildlife. But Those rich folks who are scared to death of rabies and scared to have the nature bust through their little concrete walls. Oh my God, your little friend the fox who makes the cute yippee noises and dances about, he might as well be an Al-Qaeda terrorist cell. We have to fight, but we need to do it in ways that will be peaceful. Let nature heal itself. For example, we always gonna stand and love an orca who eats these rich yuppies' yachts. It's nature will fight back with us, y'all. We just have to fight with nature on our side and not against it. Nature wants to heal. Random House. Isn't it lovely? That's their driveway. Can you see the house? Don't worry, I'll let you know when we're done walking by the land. This is one family's property, by the way. While there are people not knowing where to go, we're building concentration camps. And here's the fun thing. Listen to your politicians closely. Because, yeah, they tried to, what's the term? They tried to cut the edge or whatever it was off of their terrible all-switch concentration camp. Because they said, and I still haven't turned the camera around. We're still walking past the land. If you could see the little light in the distance like I can, about 10, 15 miles back, there's like one, maybe two lights on that might or might not be houses. They might just be storage buildings. Because remember, these rich corporate family folks, they don't care about their power bill. Their pay gets supplemented by the taxpayers, I guess. Because they can just leave it burning all the time. Which is effectively like lighting a fire on the planet's surface anyway. For all the power that it's wasting. Still walking here. But again, I'm trying not to let the walk and the heat and the exhaustion take me, because I'm walking into about 7 to 8 to 12 hours where I won't get a break unless my coworkers make it to where I'm able to have a break. Hot tip, they probably won't make it to where I'm able to have a break. I go in, I do prep, I cook, I do dishes, and then at closing time, I clean up, and any leftover food that doesn't get left. If every restaurant does this, if it's a non-porous food like, say, steak, or a non-porous food that isn't going to go bad in under 12 hours, the restaurants just put that shit up until the next shift. The next shift warms it up. Don't believe me? Go talk to a line cook you know that's willing to be honest with you. Don't show my work uniforms in these. And also, to put a bright side on that, I promise you it won't hurt you, but if it demand burnt food, if you want it well done, do it yourself. It's so much cheaper. And if you want it burnt, congratulations, everyone can burn food. Why are you spending $10 for a hamburger that you want burnt with nothing on it, child? Go home, get you a pack of buns from the store, burn you a patty, because again, oh, I don't want it to have flavor. I want it to be blackened. Okay, cool. Put it on your grill. You ain't even really got to worry about it. Because when you order burnt food, that's what I do to your food. I'm not tenderly making it with love. You want coal from hell, you get coal. Now, you want the recipe, you want food that's cooked properly, I'll do it. I'm happy to, that's why I'm here. I enjoy cooking. But it's like, I'm so tired of people treating, oh, actually, I don't know why I'm surprised by that. The other problem I have right now is the whole AI apocalypse and how people have basically ripped all meaning out of art. See, y'all, I have real imposter syndrome with things because I read a lot of big books and it isn't a skill. Dependency on drugs is not a skill. So, yeah, I try to do things, talents. I do a lot, take coloring book pages from discount coloring books, and I'll either tweak them or when I color them, I'll try to stick with themes and patterns like I'm an interior decorator or some shit. I slap some acrylics on the canvas or on the cardboard. I might bedazzle it with a few rhinestones or something, but at the same time, I don't consider that me doing art. I'm still walking past the property, by the way. We're going to play it as a game since it's not bright enough for me to actually show you anything. We're still walking past that one person's property. Remember, in a world where there are a mass amount of homeless Americans right now, and they're building homes to just be unaffordable to the average American. We just reached their second gate. Still nowhere near their home, by the way, and I'm not going to show you their address because I don't want you to pick on them. I'm just pointing out the true failures of capture to slaves. But the biggest slap in the face to me and to you is that, well, they could just self-deport and leave. I would say try that, but we all know how that would go. Hello, Mr. Unfaced ICE agent with all the weapons of God. I'm for nothing. Because again, folks, in case you need a history lesson, that's exactly what fucking Hitler did. Again, above the actual Auschwitz, but above the first concentration camp, or one of the worst ones, we could just say Dachau, that would be easier, but y'all, they're making migrant workers who they pick up, your grandparents, your friends, members of your community, work. And like I said, you need to listen to how the politicians talk. Because as they said very loudly on their little program, but there's air conditioning in here, while they're standing in the main hall of the concentration camp. It's 60 degrees in here, so I don't want to hear anything about this to live in boiling conditions. Honey, I went to Earl C. Clemens Job Corps. In the official offices of the staff, yeah, they had air conditioning. Did they have it in the classrooms? Did they have it in the dorms? Sorta, kinda. It was on an up and down scale. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. For the first 4 weeks that I was in this 3 section of Earl C. Clemens Job Corps, going because I signed up to get a medical certification to do paperwork. I spent the first 3 months without hot water because the dorm's RA, Canty, decided he didn't like all them gay boys in his dorm, and gay boys like hot water. Straight boys like cold water. So he's turning off our hot water till he gets rid of all the gay boys. This is exactly how he spoke to us. And we just had to take it on the chin, because what the fuck was we going to do about it? That's kind of how we are as a country right now, though, is we're being told to take it on the chin because what you going to do? And we're showing what we're going to do. I'm not going to say that people have been standing by. I've never been prouder of my fellow Americans. I just also haven't been more disappointed in our system or the very loud racist Americans out there. Because let's be clear, y'all, the main reason Trump's hit very, very hard to buy an election and then throw a full-scale military regalia parade to make his ego feel better so he could feel big and strong like his buddy Kim Jong-un. And nobody wanted to be nice to him. None of y'all, myself included, wanted to be nice to our dear fat Fuhrer. He so desperately wants respect and to be seen as a strong boy, like all of his little red hat dipshit followers. They so crave to be seen as strong, when in fact they're cowardly little cunts. As I'll say to the 9, 10, 15, 100 anime personalities that'll eventually lambaste me, it's, y'all, our enemy is fragile. The only reason they're dangerous is because they run in high numbers, and right now they control the monopoly on violence. Give you an example. As I walk past one of these pomp rich cunts' house, if they yell for that one will shoot me. Can I get help? Are they going to come back and give me free water? A healthy ride? No, of course not. They're here to help. They're here to protect the money. And again, that's not a dig at cops. Y'all are a part of a broken system. I would say if you know you're part of a broken system, put the system down and walk away until you can repair it. But you know, I mean, why not let the engine run while it's throwing oil and gas everywhere? Property. Like I said, talk loud enough and the vans start showing up. But again, we are a very cowardly country. And as much as the Trump supporters hate me, they're also too much of a pussy to actually come out and face me face to face. See, they're the ones saying, we want our freedom. Freedom through unity, unity through strength, strength through hard work and purity. But as soon as you're like, okay, well then fight me. Why would you be violent? How dare you call for violence? Your words, sir. You're murdering people. Fuck you. A brigand. A monster. No, I'm just tired of your bullshit. If you're gonna fucking do evil shit, be ready to be called out like the evil cunts you are. Don't be sitting here being like, but you need to be nice to me. Because, yeah, y'all, the reason Trump's enslaving immigrants right now, the reason he's cracking down on American citizens, one, congratulations. We got to see your side of it. You went to war with the illegal gangs, and so far you found, like, what, 5 gang members total? And a whole bunch of immigrant workers centers to help. Boy, howdy, you sure have been pulling them dangerous gang members out. Oh, wait, no, they haven't. They've just been arresting easy catches. Because again, even though ICE with the newest funding just got more funding than any branch of the United States military, by the way, they cut the suicide prevention for the soldiers. So any of your friends shell-shocked or who have PTSD from murdering brown people overseas, well, I guess they just get to eat it and eat that bullet. We need to make sure our ICE boys are funded so they can run around like the little chicken shit cowards they are, covering their faces and their names. And before you at me on that one, well, who the fuck are you? You're just a... My name is Travis Croy. I'm online. This is my face. You can't see it right now because the sun isn't cooperating. But go back and look at the videos. That's my face. No filter. That's just ugliness. And yeah, that's me. I'm here. Hi. If you want to talk, we can talk. You want to fight? We can fight. But whatever we do, I'm here. This is me. And that fucker don't know how to drive the speed limit. But this is me. Where are all those strong, brave Republicans? I'm not talking about like the 4 or 5 super racist rich assholes. I'm talking the dipshit that drives around town with a rebel flag and a Trump flag. You're real brave when you're going 70 miles an hour. Want to talk about it? Oh, wait, you don't, because the minute you stop and I start yelling, your little chicken shit ass runs off. Like I said, I'm not saying fight Trump. Everything is bad for you, and everything is being programmed to try to make you worse. Fight that. You know what I did? I went to what was it? I want to give him a proper shout out, but all he does is short, so it's hard. I can't share his content like I want to. But I could just overlap him and do that kind of stuff, but that feels like I'm taking his work. And while we might not agree on everything, I love what he's doing for the Rewilding Project. When I say support, I mean instead of giving a single rat fucking penny to any of those local, but please, mister, give us money. Fuck them. Give all your money to public broadcasting, to NPR, I believe, National Public Radio. Give money to the services that will help you as people. Stop buying into the bullshit. And that's for both sides, for the record. If I hear one more fucking Democrat come out with their hand out going, but I'll f them for money, bitch, I'm gonna spit in your face. You had a hold of it for 4 years. Part of us being here is the fact that the Democrats said, well, maybe just a little genocide on the side is a treat. You know, we just won't talk about it. I'll give the gutless evil Republicans this. They think what they're doing is great, so they're going to talk about it to incessance. I just don't know how to tell you. I don't think it's a win when it's, yeah, we bomb the shit out of them little kids. Fuck them kids. Well, speaking of kids that are being fucked, Mr. Trump, can we talk about those 5 girls at that Miss America pageant? Oh, you're gone already. Well, sir, can we talk about how one of the hangars in Florida for the gator ghettos, the alligator fucking concentration camps? Can we talk about how one of those hangars belonged to our nation's most outspoken, outsourced pedophile and Donald Trump's bestie? Just saying, it seems kind of fucky, right? Oh, by the way, see the limited sight distance sign? That's where the farm ends at. That's where that giant plantation ends at. Sorry, I got distracted talking about our fat foppy fascist. And I forgot that, oh yeah, I was going to show you the great land imbalances. Because on this side, all that empty airspace that you see, yeah, that's by design. Those are dirt hills that used to be a very fine, thick forest. Those hills used to be much shorter and much smaller, and this area through here did not flood as much. Then, about 7 or 8 years ago, they bought all this land from the family that owned it, and has basically been putting up houses since. They've redone the entire ground, where now you've got one very large mosquito recession pond right here. And I mean that. It's just no turtles, no wildlife. They're not putting any work into wilding it. It's a puddle full of garbage. And then they have all these little systems that feed out into the sod farm, which, again, my dumb guess, because none of this is like easily accessible, but my dumb guess is that they're doing this so that as they flood this entire, because again, this entire lowlands where they've cut all the natural vegetation back and planted all of this crap European just yard grass. I don't know. It's got a name. There's a name to it, but it's basically just yard grass. White folk yard grass. It's the shit that people get off mowing for some reason. It's not natural vegetation. It's not a good, like, strong hay population. It doesn't form an undercarriage. And why? One of two. A, they don't care what they're doing to us, because fuck us, we're going to make it somehow, right? I think that's the one, because always attribute maliciousness. Always attribute malice to ignorance, not to what it actually is, which is malice. Here's my hat. But anyone that lives in those 4-story monstrosities, while you can literally see some of your fellow Georgians living in the parks and on the street, which, by the way, haven't gotten a chance to read how Georgia's getting rid of their homeless. That's always a fun bill to read in a fucking Republican-controlled America. I know how I want to get rid of the homeless, by giving them homes, steady places to go where they're no longer unhoused. Even if it's just government-assisted housing, still, they'll have a safe place to put their stuff. It breeds a lack of desperation, and it breeds cooperativity. Sorry, I'm not getting my words right. It's been 36 minutes of solid walking, and at least 20 minutes of that y'all didn't see. But either way, it breeds people to work together. You know what I mean? It makes you work together because you're all in the same boat. Whereas this bullshit with their HOAs and their look at me, keep up with me, I'm so special. All that does is breed hatred, and it makes people waste money they don't have on bullshit they don't need to keep up with fuckers that don't care about them one teeny bit. Stop doing that. You don't need the newest Squishmallow. I have a Squishmallow. You can have a Squishmallow. We don't need 100 of them. Don't make your possessions you. Does that make sense? I'm an artist. My house is full of canvas, pencils, paper, acrylics. It's full of various things. But none of these things are important. If the Nazis come in tomorrow, smash all my stuff, dump my paints, burn my shop down, yeah, I'll be sad. It'll take me a long while to recover. But assuming I don't get killed off, I'll be back at it again in a week. Now, maybe not as strongly as I was. I might not be pumping out the hot takes like I do. But I'll be back. I'll bounce back. Because I'm doing this for the team, for us. I'm doing this for everyone that I can. For anyone that's out there going, damn, man, it's like the whole fucking world's against us. It is, brother. We need to fight it. Give me a minute, because this is more important. Do you hear them? Long ago, not so long ago, but long ago, about 10 or 15 years, you would hear that as a constant. It would be loud enough to wake you up. About 100 years ago, the bird populations were so massive, they blocked out the sun. Like, you want to know why it used to be considered good luck for a bird to poop on you? As weird as a thing that is. Well, because at one point in time, people would be carrying around little parasols to catch bird crap. Did you know that North America had a native parakeet? A cute little emerald green little bastard. Cute as could be. They got hunted and eaten and fished out to extinction, well, shipped out to other people to extinction. We'll never be able to bring back that. But what if we were to say, start collecting and training and releasing. By training, I mean the exact opposite of that. You take 2 parakeets that are able to live in this very tropical-esque environment now, because Georgia, as someone who's living in this mess, is quickly turning from temperate swamp forest to tropical swampy mangrove. And maybe that's nature taking it back. Again, I'm not going to be one to stand in the way of our mother. But in a non-religious way, let me be clear. When I call her our mother, it's in a much more respect for the land, much less woo Gaia way, okay? I'm not crazy, or at least I hope I'm not yet. I know I'm a little crazy. I mean, when I say I hear the earth screaming, that isn't me being poetic. I'm schizotypal disorder, folks. I hear the earth screaming. Not medicated, thanks to a government program near you. Yeah, good luck being mentally problematic in the U.S. If you're a rich kid, you'll be all right. I'm at least not as... They'll look at my shit and assume that I'm one of those rich assholes. That they look at my strange way of dressing, my strange way of talking, and my strange way of being. And at least I'm not locked up like your average black individual would be. To be clear and less racist about it, or at least hopefully clarify so it's less racist sounding, there's a gentleman in this town. I do not know his name. I have tried. He thinks I'm a hallucination, so I am not going any further with that. That's an all stop because I don't want to get stabbed. But he thinks I'm a hallucination. I've tried to give him water. I've tried talking to him. He's a nice guy. Don't approach him. When I say do not approach, I mean hard pass. Do not fucking approach. He's a good guy, but he's starting to lose touch. Like I said, when I'm looking at you going, nah, dude, I'm real. Here, you look dehydrated. Have some water. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're here. I don't dance around like a dipshit and make you feel better. I'm here for mild help. I'm not here for that. That you need a fucking psychologist. And give me a second. Interrupting myself. Do you know how you can spot the rich neighborhood in Georgia? They're the fuckers who get to have a side like 5 miles in that direction. And then it'll go in this direction, and it literally ends at the end of the auto zone. So again, this is a town. Hope I didn't bother those fine people. But this is a town. That's as much as they care. We have a sidewalk for the car parts store. Please, people, I want you to think about that. You've seen me walk this route. You've seen us struggle bus along. You've heard my cries of what if this was your family? What if I was older or much younger? The AutoZone walk, we have a fucking problem. So, why a sidewalk for the cars, but not a sidewalk for the people without cars? Just curious. Sorry for that, y'all. I know I'm being real loud for the early morning. I'm going to try to bring it back down to our happy level and show you this lovely route that at least we had a sidewalk back there. Up here we get the memory of one and lots of deer bones. How'd the deer bones get there? From folks like that driving. And then a deer, unlike me, is going to go, oh shit, and jump. A deer behaves a bit like a crackhead. You never know what they're going to do. They might freeze due to the light hitting them. They might charge you because it's mating season and they think you're trying to take their lady deer. I never claim deers are smart. They're beautiful, not intelligent. But yeah, that's normally the area I'm walking. They was working on before. This used to be very, very tall brush grass and tiny trees. A couple of those mimosas I pointed out were growing on this hill. They couldn't have that shit, right? You can't give folks shade. We got to have a real good view of that Ponzi bullshit little neighborhood y'all are putting in. Because again, it's the style. So, if you want to support this shitty little fucking project, go buy one of their $400,000 with their lunch money, can't they? No? Oh, wow. Well, maybe America should address our housing crisis. Maybe America should address our undereducation crisis, considering the fact that if I actually did write a script up and just had the script rolling by in grade level, and that's not a... I used to be down on myself for that. I used to be, dude, you're 37. You should be able to write like Robert Sapolsky and some of those highly intelligent individuals. Apparently, 9th grade is highly intelligent here in the U.S. reading it over a 5th grade level is like super fucking wow. Or did you go to college and let ChatGPT write all your stuff? Because if you went to college and worked for it, props. You have something they cannot take away. And they're going to charge. For the record, if you're using ChatGPT, that's not a skill you have. You're using the MacGuffin to win. It's sort of like a cheat code without a cheat code. But again, it's sort of like how if I take my cousin and I put him on any video game that I play on hard mode, he will literally quit 5 minutes into the game because fuck this shit. But if I put him on a game that he plays, Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear Solid, he'll play it fair. If I put him on any other game, he has to find little cheats. And again, I'm not saying let's see this, because I think it was a wedding yesterday. Aw, never mind. It was not a wedding, but ultra very proud. It was Jen's 50th birthday. Congratulations, Jen, and a happy birthday. For anyone that I'm bitching about, you are excluded as it is your birthday, or was your birthday yesterday. And here in America, 50 is kind of a milestone to hit. I mean, when you're dying at 60 here in the U.S., props, you made it to 50, Jen. I don't know if I showed it. I can't really go back because we're starting to run out of time. And unfortunately, it looks like we're starting to run out of pavement. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. See, y'all, I try to be funny and make it not go dead space, but it's a lot. It'd be so much easier if I could get the laptop working, get my set built out. I literally had one of my coworkers that might become a fan. I just got to do the drag, and she gonna drag my drag, but I'm fine with that. I want to play with makeup more. The problem is that, and I'm not atting nobody. Go check out Queen Coke Francis. We love our fucking queen. But it's a buy-in, you know? And again, not judging. Everything's a fucking buy-in here. If you want to do what I do, it's a buy-in. It's a cheap buy-in. All you really got to do is buy pencils and practice. But again, you still got to buy and or steal the pencils. You still got to get and or steal the paper. You still got to. There is a lot of different things. Absolute worst come to worst, I can play in the dirt with a stick. I know I could. I hear some of you out there in internet land saying I could. I'm not going to just go out here and grab me a handful of red Georgia clay and smear it on my face and start trying to make makeup out of that. Because there are certain things that you can, improv on, and some things that you really shouldn't. And I really think that we need to have a master course on what you should and should not improv on. For example, painting your ride. That's fine, paint it whatever color you want. Working on your engine, you should kind of have an idea how engines work. Practicing law, we used to agree that practicing law, you need to actually understand the law. 8 pages, and I didn't understand a damn thing in it, but damn it, I know things better than a lawyer now. I disagree. I can't. Oh, people are showing up. Hey, everybody. I'm just ranting about ranting things. Hiking through the Georgia morning, heading to work. This is typically my motif, but I'm trying real hard to stay more on topic with what's going on. And today I was calling out a lot of various farmers and it's not on farmers. Let me be clear. If you're just Farmer John going to work, getting your coffee I'm not talking about you, friend. But very specific variation camps to send these migrants to. Because again, we're not getting rid of migrant workers. You Americans are not getting those jobs. What we're going to do now is take those, keep them imprisoned and make them do that until they die. So I would say not an improvement personally. Hot take, not a good thing. And I would also personally say, not that anyone's going to do it. Most of y'all still drink Coca-Cola. But I would personally say, if you know of a farm that's doing this, don't support them at all. Hard stop on supporting them in any way. But again, it's America, and if you live out here like I do, food deserts be real. I do this 2 reasons. One, I can't afford an electrical motor scooter, and all the gas-powered motor scooters are way too expensive in my area. And I would love to ride a bike, but before I do the bicycling thing, 2 things need to happen. Because I have a bicycle now, thanks to one of my They Actually Care coworkers who did more than just say, aw, but actually went that extra mile. Shout out really for Miss Amanda. Also, while we're on the shout outs, real shout out to James and to Miss Kat and Miss Denise, as well as Miss Mary and Miss Donna. All of these people that I work with, if I'm bitching about the work, unless I say their name and that name, they're excluded from the bitching because, again, I work with quite a few people, but quite a few of them actually care. And the ones that actually care, I try very hard not to, like, tell them about. For example, yesterday one of our kittens died. And I'm still very sad about it. I regret that I live in a country where a little light bringer passed away. At least she was with David, because he was there to take care of her while I was out here doing my walk-in. And it's just, yeah, y'all, that fucking hurts. But what is the life of one tiny cat when weighed against 25 children who are still, 20 children that are still missing? And now that it's been about 48 hours and the floodwaters are still going up in Texas, y'all, let me be clear, they're still kids. They're kids and they're scared or they're dead. And FEMA funding would have really helped them out. But instead of FEMA funding, they got the mystic experience, I guess. I don't know how to cover this topic properly, y'all, so please be patient with me and go to an actual journalist. But yeah, there are still, last I checked, according to AP News, 20 girls missing in Texas and several other normal people still missing as floodwaters continue to rise and have yet to recede. Now again, it's AP News, might have been a little older. I'm hoping they found more kids because I know they found at least one yesterday still alive, apparently in a tree. Water went from where I'm standing to the top of that tree. I want you to think about that for me. Just Cheetos, dipping it in your sauce, enjoying your American television, and then suddenly and without warning, oh wow, why is the door leaking? Oh shit, why does it look like an oceanscape outside my door? Would you know what to do? I wouldn't. Oh, I know a little bit of what to do. Get to the high ground as quick as you can, make a hole in your roof, and escape. Make real hard, real quick decisions real fast. Things that hopefully you've already thought about, because then again, maybe y'all don't live in constant survival mode. I'm constantly thinking about what the next natural disaster will be, because we live in a world, and I'm sorry to say, not to be an extremist, but y'all should also be doing that. I currently have roughly 20 gallons of what I would consider more like safe water. It's tap water, y'all. It's unfiltered tap water. But basically, as I empty a gallon, I fill a gallon. And then I try to stow the gallon, remove the label, and date them. If I can't remove the label, I'll just simply date them with a Sharpie and stick them in a cool, dark place, likely a box under the trailer or something. Is it a great idea? No, but in the event that we lose our power and water, I'll have roughly about 40 gallons. That is not just for me. It's for me, my animals, and any of my neighbors that might or might not need it. Because again, y'all, proper preparation. It's up to you now. As the government continues to morph into the evil Gilded Age oligarchy we all read about, but apparently no one fucking paid attention to, as it continues to morph into that, less and less government programs are going to be there. Right now, as much as it pains me to say this, y'all know how I feel about the church. But if your church program runs a food pantry, and by that I mean runs a proper food pantry, they give good food out to people in need. Take care of them. Sponsor them if you can. If you cannot sponsor them, at the very least, when you purchase your food for the month, go ahead and set what you would set aside for an emergency put it back slop bucket. Buy it and give it to the food pantry near you that actually does good work. For the record, if it's a food pantry attached to a mega church, fuck them. But if it's a food pantry like ours is here, the Red Door, it's attached to a very small Presbyterian church, been there since Jesus' sandals were threaded, go help them. I haven't been able to help them because I am far too poor. I'm gathering water at my house. But whatever you can do, anything you can do, you got a shit ton of clothes. Launder them as best you can and sort of seal them up. Because again, floodwaters are coming, y'all. Tornadoes are coming. Hurricanes are coming. Wildfires are here. Government's not coming. They just defunded the fuck out of the police and put it all into ICE, who, having someone in my life with a master's degree in criminology, will tell you they're very different. The police at least have to pretend that they're serving the system. ICE are basically for one purpose and one purpose only. Get rid of any immigrant they see that they deem any kind of danger whatsoever. Guess what, folks? We're a nation of immigrants. I'm an immigrant. I mean, I got a fucking social security, but go ahead. Go ahead. Do an Ancestry and me or whatever 411. Give the system your blood and your data. Well, I think it's just a cheek swab, but give them your data and learn a lesson. I think they should do that to any white supremacist. Because I guarantee you, most white supremacists, one of two things: very, very inbred, which is not something to be proud of, or, yeah, homie, you got a fucking migrant in your system. Because we all do. Because that's how people work. If we don't work that way, we end up with those really weird tiny chins and giant crooked noses, and we look like fantasy villain creatures because we're so inbred. Our genes are literally saying, I think we've been here long enough. I mean, for reference, I would say look at any member of the British royal family. Does that look like anything you'd want to fuck with? Don't lie, none I don't want to fuck with. Look delicate as shit. Yeah, y'all, this is your daily update on things, but it's like, I want to be like Cody Shoddy. I want to be like Sam Cedar. I want to be like Hassan Piker. I want somebody to remix this shit with like a tune, but the main thing I want to do for y'all is I want y'all to be able to breathe some of this malaise that I have and either do right to start correcting the system to make it better for everybody, or if you're like me and you're just fucking tired and you're doing your best but you're burnt down, understand you're not alone. We're all tired, friend, and we're all doing our very best. So I don't judge you if you're in the fight and this is your break day. You need them. It's a hard fight, and unfortunately, when you're fighting on the side of the good, you don't get very many happy days of relaxation. Most of my happy days are spent thinking about the people that are gone and no longer here. People that could have done better or been better if we had been in a better system. I'm not going to get too emotionally tied into it because no, especially not heading into work. But I mean, a lot of times when I'm walking around, and now again, y'all, to be honest, I'm not sure if I was poor when I was young or if I was middle class. I'd say my parents did a very good job of disguising where we sat at. I lived in about 2 homes, maybe 3, maybe 4. But I lived in 2 primarily enough that I remember living in 2 homes. Everyone in my household had a job until medical problems caused it to where they couldn't. In the case of my mother, she went to hairdresser academy, became a proper hairdresser. When I was born and accidentally brought into this world, she became a teacher. And she was never quite right since, but she tried her best and I applaud her for her efforts. But still, she would still be here today if we had a good system of health care. If she could have gotten mental health checks, seen a counselor, seen a therapist for her numerous problems, and I would say undiagnosed PTSD, she wouldn't have taken her own life about 7 years ago. And I wouldn't have been scarred by being the one to find her body. But you know, we don't live in a good system, we live in the system we got. So we take our pain, and rather than wallowing in it, we stay in it for as long as we have to, and then we try to make it better. And one, we don't sanctify everyone. My mother had her own problems, and part of her problems were, much like myself and much like I have to constantly fight, she would recluse herself. She would fall back, so to speak. She would, if she got upset at something you did, if she got upset with you and she didn't feel like it was something that she should bring up or fight about, she would just cut you off for a while. Days, months, weeks. As long as she could, she'd cut you off. And she'd come back once she was calm enough to speak to you nicely. But honestly, my mother's toxic positivity and the way she would do little things like that, while it might be a strong case, is also the reason why I lived in an almost constant state of fear, because to me, I rarely saw my mother happy. Most of her life was either upset with me because the school was calling her because I was getting into fights, or the school was calling her because some kid picked on some kid, then I picked on him, and a fight ensued. Or again, because of awkward kid shit, I was vandalizing bathrooms, I was shit like that. And it was kind of just because again, the school, she was a parent who would actually respond. She was a parent who not only would say, oh my God, my kid did that, but what do you think I should do to punish him? And then she would run with that advice. It's part of the reason why I don't care for Christian teachers, because one of them totally used that to fucking stunt my religious growth. Oh, well, you see, Mrs. Mays, here's what the problem is. Your boy's been reading these here witch books. Ma, that's the fucking, not the Karma Sutra. I was not reading the Karma Sutra in middle school. Those are the Vedas, Ma. I don't know what that Veda is, but he's saying it's devil worship. It's not. It's from India. It's Hinduism. I don't know nothing about no Hinduism. You need to stop that then. Hey, saying it's making you fight with kids. It's making me fight with the kids because they're saying that I'm a witch, and I'm not. I'm just studying things because religion's apparently important. Now, yes, was little Travis that intelligent with his words? Probably not. Probably came out a lot more confused and a lot more angsty, but it was still, I was reading religious texts from around the world because I was tired of the same tired Christ who would both save everyone, but really hated them gays for some reason, who cared about everyone and no rich person will ever see paradise and all the rich need to be flailed and burned, but also love everyone, and especially the rich person who really needs your love the most because their hearts are empty. The hypocrisy was pissing me off. So even as a child, I was looking for something more fluid, something more real. And so I moved from Christianity to Hinduism, never becoming a practicing one, but just, dipping my toes in the water, studying a little bit of the Vedas until they got taken away. Then went into Native American spiritualism, as it's called. That's a red flag. And like just picking up, learning, reading as much as I could, trying to understand. And then as I came across shit that just didn't match, or, yeah, that's really cool old world wisdom, but if we put it under a modern lens, that's kind of stupid. If it didn't make the cut, I cut it all out because, yeah, maybe it has some good stuff and it's something worth referencing, but it's not worth living my life by, And by the way, the Bible was the very first book that was cut. If you read the entire Bible cover to cover, I don't know how you morally, square that circle. Because it's literally a book that tells you women aren't people. Women are an object. A lot of the problems that America has comes from people taking the Bible and banging it right into whatever faith that they had and held dear. And because it was a book written by the sword, yeah, just that. Every conquering soldier had their own take. Why do you think it is that both Muslims, Turks, Hindus, other Christians, and Jewish people, according to the Bible, are lesser dogs that need to be put to sword, but are also God's chosen people? Because it's a confusing book written by confusing people and not at all drafted by God. Like I said, these are the ramblings of a mad person. See better creators' content. For this, I would suggest calling the line, or checking out the Secular Student Alliance, or checking out the Talk Heathen is another good one. If you want to argue with somebody, call the line. I love the line because it's basically a battleground. You think you can convert somebody back to whatever faith you have? Call the line. It'll be fun for everybody except for you. Now, if you want to talk to human talk to somebody, call Talk Heathen. They have rules that they abide by that basically keep the conversation civil. And I would highly advise, for the less religious side of it, for the much more current times, check out the Line's Transatlantic Call-In show. It comes on Thursdays. And if you have any questions about trans folks or trans issues, call them. Typically, it's hosted by trans creators. And they will take your call. Depending on the host is depending on how much they're going to take your bullshit. But they will take the call. Here's something fun. Ice, smearing off ice, trash bag with their garbage. I wonder who might have done that. I bet you it was the people who live here, who basically live paycheck to paycheck and barely cut it. I bet you I know who ain't going to catch them, though. Well, of course, they're litter bugs. They're poisoning our planet. They're hurting our mother. They're not hurting corporations, though. Those people are only here to fight for the corporation. Those poor, poor defenseless corporations. This is why if I see someone stealing from a store, no, I didn't. And that's evolved over the years, for the record. I went from being like the wolf from Rurouni Kenshin because I was raised by military police who climbed the ranks. It was one of those, I was always taught, we got rules for a reason. We got laws for a reason. That's what separates us from the beasts. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, but those rules only defend the monsters who are writing them. Now, maybe one day, and we do need rules. We are a society, as the Joker would say. Certain rules are required. The reason I'm not walking in this heat, butt-ass naked, showing my hairy cheeks to the entire world, is not because of modesty. I will happily show y'all this scarred up, fucked up form. But if you notice, as I pan carefully, there are lots of houses. There are lots of kids. There's a reason I try to control how many profanities I scream out through here. But again, we live in a society. So since my dangly bits would offend, I cover them up in these very sticky, very itchy, hot pants. Sticky's not the adjective you want to use with your pants. But you know what I mean. It's hot. It's muggy. My balls and ass are sweating out here. Not to get too gross for y'all. But it's like, don't you think I would love nothing more than to just be walking down this road, shirt topped over my shoulder, pants in the bag, boxers is a bare minimum. And as it climbs up to 95 degrees, there go the boxers. Now I'm just a hairy ape walking down the road. I mean, I would love to do that, but I know I'd get arrested and put on a very bad no-no list. And while I will live and die by the phrasing that there is nothing shameful about your body or mine, yeah, we live in a society, so we obey the rules of the society we live in. I do my best, but I've quickly devolved from that very hard stance, read the code of... Oh, our dear friend has not yet fully composted, so look at me and don't look around too far behind me. Because they are in the tall grass, but hey, how's it going, friend? Now you ain't got to worry. I'm going to spare you seeing that nasty shit. I don't understand why we can't show you that, because it's just there. It's nature. But, you know, gore, gross, I get it. I get not everybody wants to see that, especially at breakfast time. But when it comes to, like, society things, it has devolved. I used to be like that wolf character from Rurouni Kenshin, the one who was hunting him. The absolute justice is the only thing that matters. The law. And the long arm of justice. The bounty hunter character, I used to, like, model after him. Because to me, when I grew up, my military police grandfather who climbed through the ranks was my role model, but he had slowed down a lot in his old age. He was much more, well, let's take care of minor things. He had gone from being Odo to being more Andy Griffin. He wasn't so much about the cause. So as a kid and being much more extreme, I needed to find someone more for the cause. So I started to base myself on people that I saw like him, that he liked, but were from anime, and the wolf was one of them. And yeah, I was a shitty little kid. I was a little fucking narky snitch. I wouldn't tell on you, though. If you did something that broke the code, I'd break your nose. And got into a lot of fights that way. Got better. Learned not to be that way, because that's not a productive way to be. Now we're about to have the fun part of the walk, and I wanted to show y'all this. While I have some lovely, not volunteers to show you, just how safe this route is. Because again, in the field, you will get busted for trespassing if he takes a disliking to. So knowing that you can't walk over there, you get to walk over here. And over here, you get this much space, and this is what the other side looks like. And I can't get too close because it's a washout over there. You can actually see through here where the natural environment's trying to hold it together, but it's basically washing down into there. And to make matters even more better, can you see the car? Do you think the car could see us? I think they could hear us before they could see us. Just because of these. This beautiful plant. Like I said, I'm not upset with the foliage. I'm upset that, again, I can't walk around in my boxes because inappropriate. But these people can basically set up little death traps on their property. Again, washing out. It's a slow washout, but as they continue to get rid of trees and other roots that are trying to take in there, the ground's only going to give away more, folks. And that, again, comes to an ignorance that a lot of people have because, like myself, they thought, oh, well, God will take care of it. If I don't understand, surely, in my innocent ignorance, I'm not going to have to fuck around and find out. I don't know no better. No, friend, the planet will make you know better. It's like, and that's why I hate a lot of these preacher types who are, well, we walk by faith, not by words. No, we very much walk on our legs. Not on faith or on words, on our legs. I can't do that, sadly. If I had a selfie stick, y'all would be getting all sorts of fun angles. I dream. In my greedy capitalist dreams, I dream of getting a little drone that can follow me around and basically do like those style moving 360 shots and things. Something that I can wear like a little pin on my neck band here, and it'll just focus in on that and I can direct it. That sounds so nice. I'm never gonna have one until they drop into like Temu prices, but still, it'd be nice. Instead, I'm doing this the old-fashioned way, holding my phone and talking to my little black mirror. That was a direct reference for the record. But yeah, it's the reason I get frustrated with them, because they fill these people with such a false confidence that they don't have to contend with afterwards. It's like how I follow up every let's fucking eat the rich with a, but not you though. You stay fuck put, be good, take care of yourself, drink your water, eat your vegetables, bitch about the rich, but please don't attack them. You will get shot. I'm gonna try to get a fire going under you because I think we all need to be a lot more active, a lot more informed, and a lot more awake. But I'm not gonna say, hey, grab that brick, grab that Molotov. The revolution starts now, comrades. No, because one, fuck me for trying to get that going if I'm not gonna be right there on the front lines with you. It's why I have real problems with certain creators. But rather than shouting out the bad, instead let's shout out some of the good. Surus, my fellow Georgia boy, we disagree on a lot of things, sir. But on a lot of things we also agree. Trans issues being one of them. And anything I can do to help you, I will happily do. But he's one of the positive ones, because one, he's very careful about not doing, I had to bring my finger up. One, he's very good at not bringing out calls to violence. Because again, it's very, very cowardly shit. If someone's telling you go do violence, but they haven't got a long, extensive criminal record, they're trying to set you up. Don't let them set you up. And if they have a long criminal record, well, that just shows they're not very good at understanding cause and effect. Don't go do violence, folks. Violence is not the way. And more importantly, when that time comes, because yeah, that time may eventually come. But when that time comes, I promise you, it's not going to be a call on social media. It's going to be a call to action from the folks outside your house. Feel me? Do y'all feel me there? Because I need you to understand what I'm saying with that. Otherwise, I need to put this down right now if I'm radicalizing anyone to do any actual violence. Because that's not my goal. We fight the government in a mental war right now. Please don't just pray and meditate and shit, though. Actually get out, help, store water, store food, and give it to food pantries before it goes bad. There are lots of things we can do. Constructive vandalism. You see some little limp dick, tiny fucking Nazi cunt put a swastika up, go mark through that motherfucker. Put a BLM sign. Put something that'll piss them off. Engage on every level we can, but only to the level we're allowed to. It's why I will say, you meet me on the streets as a bigot, and I'm going to tell you, bro, that's fucked up. You shouldn't be doing that. You meet me in my house as a bigot, and you walking away with less teeth. We do what we can to what we can. Does that make sense? And also, that wasn't a direct threat. I wouldn't allow bigots in my house or in my life. I treat them very much like you would treat a wild animal that's covered in its own fecal matter. I care. I'm worried. You shouldn't be living like that. That's a bad way to live. But I'm also not going to get covered in your shit trying to get you clean. Does that make sense? For my Christians in the audience, I would say, as your great death cult leader said, get the timber out of your own eye before trying to reach for the sty in your brother's. Weird how they never mention sisters unless it's for sex, but let's go on. Either way, it's why I don't do those kinds of calls to action. But I will do, let's do positive brigading in the form of, hey, Hannah Reloaded needs more subscribers. She's a really good YouTube streamer. I'm not saying go subscribe because I'm saying subscribe. I'm saying go check out her content. Anything new, she stays on the cutting edge and she's constantly improving. When I say to talk about some of our lefty generals, so to speak, because I very much don't mean anything in the military, most of those people sold out to the dollar a long, long time ago. But as far as our lefties that'll actually be there talking with you, Suris, Hassan Piker. You might not like Hassan. I don't like Hassan's use of certain slurs and words. But you know what? You know who was there during the battle for LA, which is what I think we should call it in the history books? You know who was there staring at ICE's infinite money and guns and bombs and did not give up and was out there directing people to, okay, y'all, they're going to try to take this side of the highway. They're going to try to come this way. We need to move over here for safety and try to keep... He was moving people like a fucking wartime general to keep fights and violence down while the LA police and ICE were doing their best to ramp up the violence. It's why if you go to a protest, friends, and there are lots of them happening, if you're going to go, please go, defend your freedoms, but bring a camera that is not yours. Bring a phone that's a burner phone that's only for the day for recording. Don't bring your stuff. That's dangerous for you. On top of that, record everything, because more than likely what has happened at every single protest throughout history that turned to a riot, one of those cops will take off their badge or put on plain clothes and start a problem. I'm more than willing to bet that all the fires that happened back during the BLM times, that might have been Antifa, but that was probably fucking cops dressed as Antifa. Because it's in their books. It's a part of how you deal with urban warfare. If they can make us look worse than we do, then do it. Because, yeah, I'm a crazy person. I've already said punch a rich person or a Nazi today. There ain't that much of a fucking difference. But I'm also following that up with punch them with words, not with your fist. Now, if they lay hands on you, buddy, that's between you and God. I don't get on that level. I'm going to say, don't do violence. Violence is bad. But also I'm going to say, someone lays hands on you, take that as it is. It's a fucking threat, treat it as such. You know what I mean? This one takes some minutia. This one takes some working through with it. But you got to work together, and that's where I say we start at. I'm not going to be the one on here saying, but y'all, peace, and only peace. Peace is the only weapon that works. Because again, you know the last person I heard that only spoke about peace? And the last person I heard that only spoke about peace, and that's all I hear? Martin Luther King. They put a bullet in his head. Before that, there's a lot of people spoke peace, but they did it for wrong reasons. I mean, we can play this game if you want. Mother Teresa, but she also thought that human suffering was a good thing. So while she was taking in millions of dollars, she was having very poor, very sick children wash their wounds and such with the same shit-covered bandages the other patients had used, because suffering gets us closer to Jesus. Fuck Mother Teresa. Gandhi, the big famous peace guy. I can't argue with his cause. He wanted to unite India and all that stuff, and that's cool as shit. He also was kind of super racist against black folks, and he had that weird habit of, hey, y'all, I'm going to show you just how much of a child molester I'm not by having all these little girls sleep naked with me, but I'm not going to do nothing, and y'all can watch. Yeah, dude, I don't know what you're trying to do there, but that ain't doing what you think it's doing. All that's making me know is you freaky and you don't need to be around kids. Why does your head work that way? You see what? And this isn't odd. It's just the norm. It's like how every religious leader will simultaneously be the biggest one on, well, you need to give God his time. God will get to you in your time. Believe. But they're also the ones driving away in a Rolls Royce or a Bentley to their nice little manor, while most of their parishioners are living in trailers or living in tents. Which loops it all the way back to Alligator Alcatraz, the concentration camp that they just built in Florida. When they tell you that place has air conditioning, yeah, all the military bases have air conditioning too. Ask a grunt how good that air conditioning is. Because, yeah, they have it, but not where you think it is, not where they're telling you it is. If that place has good air conditioning, it'll be in the offices of the officers who run it. Not in Gen Pop, not in their little tent city where they're going to have the hot, beaten down climate change Georgia sun cooking those poor individuals. And again, I don't know how you feel about inmates. Personally, I believe we should treat everybody like humans, because it's a lot harder for me to get violent or angry about somebody if they're constantly coming to me with an open hand going, hey, friend, let's work it out. It's a lot easier for me to be hateful when it's basically, do what I said or I'm going to hit you. I'm going to hit you if you don't do what I said. Damn, I'm going to hit you then. It's a lot easier to violently rebel against the one trying to hit you with a whip rather than the one trying to say, hey, y'all, let's work together. And that's why I say we got to work together. But I mean, y'all, I've been doing this for like over 20 years. I've just been begging anyone that'll listen, trying to get to town hall meetings, talking to anyone that says, oh, well, I'm important. I got this and such here. Okay, hey, could you put a sidewalk in from U Harley to Cartersville and maybe fix the U Harley bridge? Not the big famous Ponzi covered bridge. That one's fine. It looks pretty. They've decked that thing up so nice. They've got a little white man pub next to it, y'all. They got one of those little yuppie millennial style bars next to it. They've fully upgraded the covered bridge. It's fine. I mean the fucking poor ass bridge on the other side of the covered bridge. The one that goes from Hunter's Landing over to the trailer park and the Styles up in this area. That bridge. The bridge they haven't touched in over 40 years. The bridge that hasn't been worked on, touched, renovated, cleaned up, or so much as thought about for 40 years. Maybe they should fix that and make it big enough to where we can go from one side of U Harley to the other without having to do something that I'm going to do one of my days off. But before I do it, I have to make proper preparation so I don't just outright die. Because if I try to make that walk right now as it stands, y'all, I'll be serious. I won't be able to put it on YouTube. It'll turn into a snuff film. Y'all watch me have a heat stroke and die in a Georgia field. Because it's like this, but for around 50 miles. Well, that's being hyperbolic. It's like this, but 20 miles of this. Trees way, way, way out in the distance where they're not going to give you a single tiddly bit of shade. And grass that's way taller than the tall grass here, which, did you see how far I had to bend? I just snipped that up just walking. And that's how the other side to get to U Harley is. But it's like this, just set on hard mode. And for the record, this ain't exactly easy to walk through. But yeah, maybe one day they'll care enough to put a sidewalk in and actually care about their civilian population. The people that are just struggle busting through day to day. I personally doubt it. I personally doubt it because we're still blowing ourselves for because we're still blowing ourselves for, you know, our SPLOST dollars going to help build that factory, whatever the hell it is, off by Cass White, I think it is. No, not Cass White. It's the road heading into Emerson. If you go like you're going into Cartersville onto the main street, now I'm only talking to locals. If you go like you're going into Cartersville, like you're going to Main Street, and you turn there at where the Fazoli's and the Antonios and the Gondolier and the Taco Bell, you take that right and you just go straight. Whatever the fuck they got there next to the Emerson Rich jackass fucking boat dock thing. Again, your boat's docked there. I'm not judging you that much. I'm judging you a little bit, though. Why do you have something that someone could live on and you're keeping it and hoarding it, but you're hoarding it to keep in storage and use like once every year or so? Again, put that on a... Hello again, Nicole +5. But put that on a river somewhere. Put it on a good lake. Make it to where people can live in all these places we have to live that are just housing cockroaches and just housing spiders and empty dead air and dust mites. I mean, half these houses aren't even furnished anymore because that was a trend in the 90s. You'd basically take all these apartments, fully furnish them. That way you could basically drag up the rent a little bit coming in because, hey, you just need to bring you, your clothes, and your kids or your pets, because back then they were much more pet-friendly adjacent, and come on in. We already got it furnished. Now, you're going to pay around an extra $200, but hell, that's well worth it because you ain't having to buy fridge, couch, stove. Typically, a furnished Atlanta apartment back when, maybe not Atlanta, a furnished Cartersville area, Taylorsville apartment, would be stove, fridge, bed, couch, and possibly an end table, a lamp, and a toaster or a toaster oven or something in that family that you could cook off of. And that was fully furnished. Now, again, it would cost you around an extra $100 or $200 at move-in, but I mean, y'all, you can't beat that price. Nowadays, a fully furnished apartment apparently means they've got cabinets, never considered those accoutrements, and you got a cot. Oh yeah, you've also got a ton of bed bugs, probably some roaches, all sorts of parasitic things, because we build our cities for jackasses that don't live there. And that's my problem, y'all. That's what upsets me so much, is anytime I bring up any of these problems, it always comes back to the same thing: money. And y'all, money's I'm not gonna lie, money's important. It's not like money would not make things a lot easier. But when you've got the government worried about making money, what's really the point, you know? You're the government. You print the fucking money. Like I said, it just seems to me like it would be wise to worry less about where the finances are going to pay the people who did it back and worry more about, hey, how will this benefit this town? Look at the kids over there playing. How is this going to benefit them? Because if this isn't going to benefit those kids that are over there, I don't have any kids to use as props right now. I don't think I would if I could, because with AI and perverts out there, don't put your kids online, folks. That's my call to action if there is such a one. If you got your kids online, don't. Scrapbooking is a wonderful, beautiful habit. Hoo-ah! And let's not let people keep setting fucking traps, okay? Because if I set up a landmine on my property, I'm a fucking villain. I'm a monster. These people put a trench in. Now picture you're a kid. It's your first night out. You brought your sweetheart, boy or girl, I'm not judging, but you brought your sweetheart out here to the sticks to just rest and chill. Or you're a kid that rides bikes. Hey, what if you were a kid that were biking? Whee! Jump. Or you're a kid bringing your sweetheart out here to the make-out point where no one's going to bother you. We drive crash dead. Why did the kid have to die? Well, we need to make our money, son. They can't destroy our dirt clots and our dirt piles. How dare they do that? I might have to do more work if they do that. Y'all, if you stick around, all two of you, I'm very happy. If you don't, I get it. I've got to pee. So for now, I'm going to sit you here staring at something, and I'll be right back. I'm going to that porta-john over there. I don't know how well y'all can hear me. I'm hoping my mic still picks up. But, you know, privacy. Privacy, as the Europeans would say. Privacy, as we would say. I didn't want to flash you my joints in their pee in front of you or nothing, you know? I hate to break the movie magic, but... Right, well, I said, I'm going to do this stuff. I appreciate it. Go elsewhere, I fully get it. I've seen other streamers do cute gimmicks. I'm hoping that some adorable bird is trying to peck the camera. Or maybe some young miscreants are stealing my broken phone. Hey, you kids, don't do that. But, you know, man. While I'm largely a kid from the channel, and while I don't want the kids in the room, the public is already waiting where I don't fuck that kid. So, I don't have to. I've got a couple nieces and nephews, but if you're not blood related to me, howdy. If you're not blood related to me and I'm not responsible for you, I don't feel that I should. Well, it's like what I said on the Minecraft stream. If you go into education and you learn how to teach children, not just you're some dipshit that wants to teach your children the ways of God, but you're actually going to school and you're actually learning how to be a proper teacher. Yeah, one of the lessons they teach you is never be alone with your young students. And that's not a, oh, that's a creepy rule. Why do they have such a creepy rule? Because people are disgusting creeps. And while I will never say, oh, teachers do that, no, teachers have a weird, how do I put this without it sounding insulting? Teachers are weirdos. I love them, but they're fucking weirdos. They're willing to put themselves on the line. They're willing to put their livelihoods, their entire lives, as well as work demeaning, shitty jobs, and work with, let's face it, some of the worst people in the world to work with. I mean, most of us, you can't pay us to be around our own children. You got grown-ass man babies saying, well, I'll babysat. Sir, you made that? That's your kid. You did not babysit. You did your responsibility. And I'm not knocking it because many dads choose not to do that. I had a dad that chose not to do that. But at the same time, you can't sit there and tell me that, oh, well, we shouldn't have to worry about paying teachers that. No, fuck you. Teachers should be up there in pay. I'm sorry. If you're a teacher, especially high school, middle school, elementary level, bro, you need to be making the six figures. Because again, imagine, if you will, trying to teach the simplest of lessons. Hey, don't eat that. Hey, if you didn't make that or someone you cared about didn't make that, don't eat that. Hey, don't play with your own poop. Don't do that. Hey, don't try to eat that. That literally says poison. Poison. Sound it out. Hey, so you're willing to do that for kids that ain't even yours and get kicked, spit on, and America possibly shot. And you're willing to do that for basically less than minimum wage. No retirement anymore. And again, back in the day, because I knew a few teachers, I wanted to be a teacher. Yeah, if you got your master's or your doctorate and you went to like a good school, a school that would be willing to defend their teachers, and you got tenure, yeah, being a teacher is a pretty cushy job. But all of those have to be met. And in this current economy and country, again, you can be the world's best teacher. But little, I'm trying to think of a good modern name. But little Finn comes walking into the classroom and tells you, hey, teacher, I don't really feel like a boy. I feel a lot like a girl. And it would make me feel really good and make me feel better about like everything if you could call me a girl. And the teacher's like, well, that's fine, Finn. Do you have a different name you'd like to go by, or is it just Finn then? And no, you can just call me Finn, but I'd rather go by she, her. No problem, kid. That's an easy burn. We can take care of that. No problem. And they just move on with their day as you should because it's a kid. Yeah, no, if you do that as a teacher, you might lose everything in this America. Why? Because some dipshit Karen that works at the Piggly Wiggly and her education consists of reading the Bible once a week in church to once a, special holiday in church and never touching another book again. Yeah, she thinks she knows better. And unfortunately, we live in such a dumb country, we're going to side with the Karen who, doesn't know a fucking thing, rather than siding with the teachers who, again, work with these kids and basically raise them. Again, am I saying that's the way it should be? No, but it's the way we've set up the system, so unless we can radically change it ourselves, Saints Row, Grand Theft Auto, Hunger Games, that kind of style, I'm afraid it's the system we're stuck with, friends. It's similar to, I would like to tell you, I'm just as strong-willed as that little boy was long back in the day, and I believe in justice, and because of that, I take the hard 10 toes down stance on fuck Trump supporters. I ain't even gonna cook for them motherfuckers. Sadly, we live in capitalist America, so I do cook for them. I can tell you there ain't no heart in the food I make if I know you're a rampant fucking racist fascist, but you're still gonna get the slop. You're just not gonna get any kind of extra treatment on that slop. And I think that may be kind of like a built-in thing that the higher-ups never realized is there. Because again, malicious compliance. If you can, and if you're strong-willed enough, because the military is a cult, and if you ain't careful, they will break you. But if you can get through that cult, they do have a lot of nice lessons in there too. One of them that I personally loved was malicious compliance. Again, friends, let me tell you a fun lesson about malicious compliance and why reading and phonics is your friend. I went to a private school for a very short period, back when my mother was transitioning from being a hairdresser and getting paid a shit ton in tips and having her own shop to being an underpaid worker and a teacher. I went for a little while in private school because she genuinely thought that would make me a better person. It set me back a good bit, and it set her back a good bit financially. But it did teach me things like malicious compliance. And in that particular school, they had a dress code. And maybe you're for dress codes, maybe you're for against them. I think a healthy dress code is fine. Kids need to wear clothes. We can all agree with that. But I don't think it should matter what degree and length and exact centimeter of skin people are showing. Just cover up your bits, folks. Teach them like they're people in the real world, not like they're little peons. Because again, some of them are. Some of these kids are real fucking dumb. Not by their own choice, not their fault. If all you were, here's a tablet that's Mr. Beast, it's going beep, boop, and that's all you get for your educational before we send you to school, yeah, your kid's going to be fucking dumb. I'm sorry, that's how it is. But for the other kids that are like educated, parents read to them, they learned how to read, yeah, you don't need to break down the exact amount of fabric they need to have. Just tell them cover their ass, But our school had a, dress code. And me, being the little shit I was, I had a friend who happened to be a lady. And due to malicious compliance being what it is, I think y'all can see where this conversation's going. But we read the little manual that they give you. And yeah, it did not specifically say which dress code you had to abide by. It just said one of the two following codes must be covered. And then it covered a business wear attire, button-down shirt, black pants, black shoes. They expected them to be shined, but it was an elementary school. Good fucking luck. And for girls, it was a white button-down blouse, shiny shoes, socks that went no higher than an inch up the ankle, and more or less like a skirt, but it was a dress or a skirt. It little brain doesn't remember, but yeah, it was a dress or a skirt. And needless to say, the reason I like kilts, I like skirts too, but men can wear kilts. If men wear skirts, other masculine men get real nervous about that. Because guys, when you're a guy, one of them men drinks all my liquor straight, only drinks beer till I shit my pants at night. When you're a man, real things scare you. Not bears, not death, not guns or anything. No, men in dresses. That shit's scary as hell, right? Am I right? Oh God, I can't keep that voice up. Yeah, y'all, I try to do the voice acting thing, but it's difficult at times. And yeah, that's kind of how I see most of these alpha men. It's sort of like the little fella in the corner. I'll fight you. I'll fight you. I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up. I'll fuck you up. Yeah, buddy, what are you scared of? I'm not trying to fight you. You seem to be in a little bit of a way, friend. That's what I want to be. I'm just also... I've been fucked over quite a few times being the nice guy. I'd rather not get fucked over again if I can help it, you know? So new kind of nice guy. Nice guy, but at an arm's length. Because it's like... I don't know if I can talk about that yet, so let's just skip on past. Eventually, y'all remind me of Frank. I got pictures on the computer and shit. But right now, there's litigation going on, and... I would not want to make a good, hardworking lawyer's job any harder by babbling on about litigation outside of court. So just remind me here in a couple months to years, because, you know, Georgia courts move just as fast as a sloth in an igloo draped in molasses. Unless you're rich. Now, if you're rich, you can find, you know, you can just buy your way through the court. The dude who now owns all that land and is quickly getting infrastructure put up, possibly in an unsafe way. Yeah, he bought the courts, y'all. He just went in there and was, how much money do I need to give your little group so that I can do this? And they more or less, well, we can't accept a bribe, but $50,000 each. $50,000 to our campaigns wouldn't hurt nothing. Well, here's $100,000 each of your campaigns. Can I build now? I see money. Well, yes, you're a job creator. Go give those people construction jobs. Y'all, I don't care that we're fucking Ferengis. It just bothers me that we're Ferengis that pretend to be Federation. That's your deep cut joke. There's our train tracks. Y'all, I thank you very much for watching the sunrise with me. And remember, y'all, as this day heats up, currently, 80 degrees. But as this day heats up, and we all slowly burn and die, and we fight through the heat strokes and we fight through the exhaustion, I just want you to take knowledge and hope and kindness in the fact that, well, at least Jeff Bezos and your owners don't have to suffer a single bit. Your boss's boss gets to just chill. And this Sunday morning, why, they probably in church praising his name while you're working your ass off. If you're upset by this, I'm not saying don't be. I'm saying let's change the way we think. Let's change the way we work. And let's, for the first time in this godforsaken shithole of a country, work together. No war but class war, my friends. And if you got to ask which class you're in, congratulations. You're poor. Welcome to the club. Either way, y'all, be good, be safe, endure and survive. I'll see you after work. Eventually, I'll get better at these sign-offs. Bye.